Hello everyone, this video is about becoming a vegetarian, and in this video we are going to cover biological reason related to animal cruelty, reasons that highlight speciesism and Vedic reasons for becoming a vegetarian. In this video we are going to cover these topics and we will start by understanding the biology of the carnivores. So talking about the for the carnivores, the primary source of food is meat which is derived from other animals. So these carnivores are the animals who depend only on the meat coming from other animals. These carnivores can be further classified into obligate carnivores and facultative carnivores. Obligate carnivores rely entirely on the meat, while the facultative carnivores, they also depend on different food other than meat. And when we talk about animals like lions, tigers, they are obligate carnivore. They completely rely on meat which comes from other animals. When we talk about the body structure of these carnivores, so these carnivores have skulls which are capable of producing biting force. That means their skull is designed in such a way, it is evolved in such a way that that skull can actually produce strong biting force. These carnivores have teeth which are made for hunting and consumption of flesh. Like when we talk about lions, they have sharp incisors and large pointed canine teeth. The teeth that you can see over here also, that in case of lions as well as in case of tigers, they have sharp incisors. Their incisors are also sharp, and their canine teeth are large canine teeth. Even their molars are sharp enough to shear the meat. Talking about the digestion, when we talk about these carnivore animals, carnivores have much simple digestive system. They also have only one stomach chamber with shorter digestive tract. What you should focus your attention on is that these carnivores, they have shorter digestive tract. Carnivores, they do not produce amylase in their saliva. Instead, they rely on their pancreas to digest carbohydrates. That means if these animals are consuming any carbohydrate, that carbohydrate digestion will not start from the oral cavity. Instead, the dependence will be on the pancreas. Now, these carnivores have higher acid content in their stomach so that they can digest complex proteins coming from the meat and flesh source. Now, shorter digestive tract allow carnivore to avoid harmful microbial growth on digesting meat and flesh. तो जितने भी ये कार्निवोर होते हैं, इनका जो डाइजेस्टिव ट्रैक होता है वो स्मॉल होता है, वो छोटा होता है. इनका जो स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन होता है वो भी छोटा होता है लेंथ में. तो जो डाइजेस्टिंग मीट होता है या फ्लेश होता है, वो इन्फेक्शियस बैक्टीरिया या इन्फेक्शियस माइक्रोबियल ग्रोथ नहीं होने देता स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन होने की वजह से. अगर इन कार्निवोर्स का इंटेस्टाइन लंबा होता तो फिर क्या होता कि वहाँ पर जो डाइजेस्टिंग फ्लेश है उसमें हार्मफुल माइक्रोबियल ग्रोथ हो जाती. So these carnivores, they have what? They have shorter digestive tract and they have higher concentration of acid present in their stomach. That is why they are able to digest meat and flesh. Now coming to herbivores. For herbivores, the primary source of food is plant or plant-based sources. So these carnivores can be seed eaters, they can be leaf eaters, they can be fruit eaters, or they can feed on the nectar. So there are different types of herbivores as you can see on the screen, and these herbivores, they have a skull which is developed in such a way that this skull cannot produce too much of biting force. That means with the skull that they have, they cannot tear any meat or flesh, and their teeth are designed in such a way that they can grind tough vegetations. They cannot tear it, they can grind it. So the teeth, they are more for grinding and less for tearing. And as these herbivores eat plant matter, they have teeth designed specifically for that task. For instance, cow, they have large flat teeth. Coming to the digestive system, most herbivores, they have several stomach chambers. They also have comparatively longer digestive tract than carnivores. So when we talk about these herbivores, all these animals, they have a longer digestive tract. These herbivores, they produce amylase in their saliva. That means the digestion of all the carbohydrates that they are consuming starts in the oral cavity. For The carnivores, it is dependent on the pancreas and it occurs in the stomach. But for herbivores, the digestion of all the carbohydrate that they are consuming starts in the oral cavity only because amylase is present. Now herbivores, they have lower acidic content in their stomach to digest protein because these herbivores are not eating complex animal based protein, so they have less concentration of acid present in their stomach. And longer digestive tract allow for better and complete digestion. It also allows in absorption of all the nutrients from the plant source. So when we talk about carnivore animals, they have shorter digestive tract, which is useful to digest all the complex protein coming from the animal source. And because the digestive tract is shorter in length, so the digesting meat and digesting flesh, it does not undergo any microbial growth. But just suppose if these herbivores animals, they start eating flesh, so because they have stomach with different compartment, they have longer digestive tract, so all the meat that they are eating, all the flesh that they are eating, microbial growth will start on that meat, on that flesh. And second and most important, when we talk about carnivores, their stomach have high acid content, while for herbivores the acid content is low. Now let's see, where do the human body fit in? When we talk about human, they have longer digestive system just like in herbivores. In humans, digestion start at oral cavity by the help of enzymes called amylase, which digest carbohydrate, and this is also just like the herbivores. Human stomach consists of lesser acid. Digestion of complex animal meat causes acidity. So if human beings, they will eat animal flesh or meat, what will happen? They will suffer from acidity. Why? Because acid content of human stomach is low, and to digest complex protein coming from animal source, they require more acid. Their intestine is also, the small intestine present in case of human, that is also a long intestine, and because it is longer in length, that intestine is more capable to absorb nutrients from the plant source. And if human beings are eating animal flesh, because of the longer intestine, the chances of harmful bacterial growth, harmful microbial growth are more. So eating animal flesh may result in production of unwanted harmful microbes in the body of human beings. And talking about the external feature, human skull is also not made in such a way that it can exert pressure or force like carnivores. So just like herbivores, our human skull is not made to put pressure or put biting force on the on other animals, and the teeth are flat just like herbivores, and they are not for grinding. They are for grinding, not for tearing. वो फाड़ने के लिए नहीं बने हैं, वो चबाने के लिए बने हैं. So human, if you talk about the biology of human, it is more similar to the biology of herbivores and it is less similar to the biology of carnivores. So biologically saying, human beings, they are evolved in such a way that they can digest more plant-based food as compared to the animal-based food. So the conclusion is that human body is made to eat and digest plant-based food, not animal-based food. Now let's talk about the food web and where do humans fit in this food web. So there is one question that I would like to ask to all the participants here. Do you know how much of food, that means plant-based food, it takes to grow a chicken? And do you know how much of water per life, that means per individual chicken that we are growing, it takes for the growth of chicken? If we look into the estimates, a chicken is ready to be consumed at the age between 6 months to 18 months. जब वो 6 महीने का होता है या 1.5 साल का होता है, तब उसका कंजम्पशन टाइम होता है. तो taking an average of 12 months, in 6 weeks, each chicken eats around 2 kg of feed that is plant based. Now till the time a chicken is ready to be consumed, it is estimated that that chicken will consume around 18 kg of feed. And water consumed by chicken and water involved in the process of poultry farming, it is estimated that per individual it is 9,500 liter. So 18 kg of the feed and 9,500 liter of water gives you just 1 kilogram of chicken. अब जिनको ऐसा लग रहा है कि 18 किलो खाना 1 किलो चिकन के बराबर है, सो दिस इज नॉट हाउ द साइंस वर्क. 18 kg of the plant based diet is consumed by the chicken, but that chicken is not absorbing all of that diet. Instead, it is absorbing just a small portion, so that the overall weight after all the water consumption or all the food consumption is just 1 kilogram. So that is how much of feed is consumed, plant based material is consumed just to produce 1 kilogram of chicken. Now, if we estimate the amount of water which is consumed in animal meat production, so animal meat production actually consumes more water than farming. You can see that to grow a tomato, around 214 liter of water is consumed. To grow a broccoli, it is 283 liters. For orange, it is 533 liters. So it is all the water that is consumed per material that we are talking about. And you can see when it comes to egg, it is 3,920. For chicken, it is estimated about 4,325. So too much of water is consumed. For beef, it is more than 15,000 liter. So animal meat production actually consumes more water than farming. And when it comes to animal meat production actually consumes more feed than human requirement. That means all the grains that are sufficient for the human beings surviving on planet Earth, most of that plant-based feed, plant-based diet is actually given and consumed by the industry of animal meat production. इसका सिंपल सा मीनिंग ये हो गया कि आप लोग जो भी ये कहते हैं कि अगर हम लोग चिकन नहीं खाएंगे, नॉन वेज नहीं खाएंगे, तो खाना कहाँ से आएगा? तो आंसर टू दैट क्वेश्चन इज we do have vegetarian food, vegetarian grains available for our consumption, but instead of directly consuming those grains, we are feeding those grains to these animals, and these animals after consuming 18 kg of these feed, what we are getting, we are just getting 1 kilogram of the non-veg diet. तो खाना sufficient है, the production of vegetarian grains is sufficient for human consumption, पर हम लोग वो कहाँ पर वेस्ट कर रहे हैं? वो हम वेस्ट कर रहे हैं एनिमल मीट प्रोडक्शन में. That is why there is shortage. Now the food web is complex, and humans, they actually don't fit in this food web. Humans are capable to grow their own food, and that is what they should do. If we stop consuming animals, if we stop producing animals for our consumption, their own population will remain according to the required and sufficient economy, or what we can say कि उनकी population will be sufficient according to the food web. So if we stop breeding them, if we stop overbreeding them and overproducing them, their population will remain as it is, and it will not harm anyone. What we humans should do is that we should grow our own food and stop depending on animal meat and flesh. Now, if we don't overbreed, then there is no need to consume, right? Their population will saturate. If you are not producing them forcefully, then there is no need to consume them. Now, let's look into another reason of becoming a vegetarian. There is a term called speciesism, and this term speciesism can be explained by this one graphic that's there on the screen. Question is, will you eat a dog as food? Most of you will call yourself animal lover just because you love a dog. But if you will not eat a dog as food, then why do you eat a pig? Is there any difference between a pig and a dog? Because a pig can actually become a good pet too, and this pig goes through a lot of cruelty, through extreme cruelty, just because we are doing this speciesism. We are discriminating between the dog and the pig. We think that dog is something that we cannot consume because it will make us less of animal lover, but we can consume pig and we can remain, we can still hold the tag of animal lover. Same goes with goat. A goat can also be a good pet, but still it goes through extreme cruelty. So if we let the population of goat be, and if we let the population of pigs be, then we don't have to consume them. If you are not breeding goat, if you are not breeding pigs for our consumption, and if we just let the natural population exist, then the natural population will saturate, it will not overpower, it will not become too much, they will just be according to the balance of environment. But we produce them for our consumption and we force them to go through such kind of cruelty. So animal lovers, they don't eat animals, whether it is goat, it is fish, it is pig, or it is a dog, or it is cow, or any kind of beef source. Animal lovers don't eat animals. Now, coming to the egg that you proudly eat. So, why I have mentioned this headline or the cover line, that egg that you proudly eat? The reason is that there is a new trend of becoming vegetarian. So, who are these vegetarians? I call them fool non-vegetarians. There are non-vegetarians and there are non-vegetarians who are much more dumb than the non-vegetarians. So those fool non-vegetarians are the vegetarians. So let me just give you the idea, biological idea of what is that egg that you are eating proudly and calling yourself a vegetarian or vegetarian. So all female bodies, including human female body, it produces egg. If that egg is not fertilized, that means if that egg is not fusing with the sperm, it is removed along with some uterine waste, and this is what we call menstrual cycle. If that above egg is fused, then that egg develops into baby inside the human body. It is placed inside the uterus of human body. In case of hen, if this egg is fertilized, just like human females, the female chicken will also produce the egg, right? So that egg, if that egg is fertilized, it will develop a hard protective casing and it will come out for external development, and that will be the egg that will hatch into a baby. So if egg is getting fertilized, it will form a hard casing, because in case of human beings, internal fertilization and internal development take place. The child develops inside female body. In case of these chicken, hen, it actually comes out, or any bird, it actually comes out in the form of egg and it externally develops. So fertilization is internal but the development is external. So if that egg is getting fertilized, then that egg will form a hard covering and it will come out in the form of egg that will hatch into a baby. That means that egg will consist of life. But the egg that you are eating, that egg is not converting into a baby. That egg is not hatching. So what is that egg? So this egg that you're consuming is produced in the absence of mating between chicken and a rooster. That means there is no fusion between the egg and the sperm. So this egg which is produced is actually haploid, which is in which the cells are actually arrested at metaphase 2 of mitosis. So you don't have to understand all these terms, haploid, metaphase 2 of mitosis. You can just focus on one line, that this egg is produced in the absence of mating chicken, that means rooster. So in simple words, using certain artificial hormones, the unfertilized egg That means the egg which is produced by the ovary inside a female chicken, that is freezed by using artificial hormones, and that unfertilized egg, which will actually come out naturally, it will actually come out in the form of menstrual waste. So that egg is seized using artificial hormones, and it develops a hard shell coating and it comes out, and that is the egg that you are eating. That means ये जो egg बना है, this egg is produced by the ovary of the female chicken, and this egg will come out in the form of menstrual waste naturally, but it is not coming out in the form of menstrual waste. Why? Because of some artificial hormone, we are developing external coating on that egg, and we are forcefully getting that egg out, and that is the egg that you are eating. And this is the reason, because the egg is not fused, this is the reason that egg will never hatch. So if you are eating that egg is first of all not cruelty free, and this is what you are paying for. This is the cruelty. These images show the cruelty which all these animals undergo just to produce one egg. Now, the last part of this video, what our Vedas say. When we talk about our Ved, the food is classified into three categories based on the source. We have sattvic food, we have rajasic food, and we have tamasic food. When we talk about the sattvic food, that food is plant-based diet, and plant-based diet, that too cooked in such a way that it doesn't have anything in the extreme. It is not extremely sour, it is not extremely salty, it is not extremely sweet. It is balanced in all way. So even the vegetarian food, if you're not cooking it properly, if you're cooking it in heavy oil, if you're adding too much of sweetness, if you're adding too much of salt, even that food, that plant-based food will become rajasic, right? So sattvic and rajasic. What is sattvic? Sattvic is actually a balanced food. What is rajasic? Rajasic is a food which is not cooked in a proper way. So it is either extremely salty, extremely sweet, addictive, or harmful to the human body. There are also some of the food like chili, garlic, onion. They are also considered as rajasic. Why? Because they have certain order and they have certain effect on the natural digestion process. So we say that most of the food that we consume should be sattvic, and rajasic way of cooking food or rajasic sources of food we should avoid as much as possible. But when it comes to non-veg and all the animal based food, whether it is egg, whether it is meat, whether it is flesh, they all are considered to be tamasic, and according to Vedas, we should not consume tamasic food at all. So if you believe in Hinduism, if you believe in Vedas, all the non-veg that you are consuming, it is under the category of tamasic food and you should not eat it. Yes, it is also true that all plant-based food is sattvic, but if you are cooking it in a bad way, it will become rajasic, and that will also cause harm to your digestive system. So try to eat sattvic food, less salty, less sweet, and less sour. Try to avoid rajasic food as much as you can, and 100% avoid the tamasic food. That food is not just harming your body, but it is also coming from the source which is very cruel. If we dive more into this sattvic food, rajasic food, and tamasic food, so this is one difference that I found on the internet, and you can read this difference. But the ultimate point is whether we consider biological reason of becoming vegetarian. Our human body is biologically evolved in such a way that we should eat plant-based food. Whether we consider cruelty, animal cruelty, that non-veg food is resulting, or we consider the point of speciesism, or we consider our Vedas. These all four, there are four different reasons to become a vegetarian. And if you still don't want to become a vegetarian after all these reasons, it's your choice, and I will say that this choice is a bad choice. Although your food is your personal choice, and my purpose behind this video is just to give the fact. So if you have any question and if you want to reach out to me, my email is mentioned, and do subscribe the channel. Thank you.